So Jordan Peterson is in a lot of trouble. This video has been making its rounds on X. He was doing a 20v1 that Jubilee does. So for instance, in this case, it's supposed to be one Christian versus 20 atheists. They've done this before. They've done something similar before with his boss, Ben Shapiro, where he's sitting around with 20 liberals, I think. But anyways, this video in particular sees Jordan Peterson getting cooked. I think he's trying to pick at Jordan Peterson's character and how he presents himself. For instance, right here, he's doing one Christian versus 20 atheists. But in the video, you'll hear him say that, well, he won't admit to being a Christian. So he's going to play these little word games with the guy because he's deflecting, because he got caught. And that's what he does a lot of times. But check it out.
Hey, Dr. Peterson.
How you doing?
Danny, nice to meet you.
What's your name?
Danny.
Danny.
You're saying atheists worship things or people or places, whatever. Can you be very clear about your definition of worship again?
So he's going to give a definition of worship in about a second, Jordan. But the reason why Danny's asking this, he's trying to create a logic trap. If Jordan gives him a definition of what worship is, and Jordan himself carries out that definition, then that would make Jordan a worshiper of the deity. He would then be able to trap Jordan because he knows Jordan doesn't like to admit to being a Christian. So if he can trap him from the get-go, he would have no choice but either A, admit he's a Christian, or B, which in this video, be found just a liar and his argument be contradictory. He's going to do that real quick. Just pay attention.
Attend to,
prioritize,
and sacrifice.
Sacrifice. So that's Jordan's definition of worship. Okay, let's keep going.
Okay, that's it. That's your understanding of worship.
Well, I could flesh it out, but that'll do for the time we have.
Okay. Do Catholics attend to Mary?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So do they fit that description of worship?
Yes.
So you would say Catholics and other people that revere Mary, like the Eastern Orthodox tradition, worship Mary.
Well, they might not put her in the highest
But
place.
you would put it that way.
That doesn't matter.
You just said it.
That
You're
doesn't
taking it
matter.
back
There's
now?
still a hierarchy.
Okay,
Doesn't
there's a
matter.
hierarchy, but
Still
within
worship,
something at the top.
worshiping her.
all right, you can worship things
Mary is
below.
quite a ways up the hierarchy, but not at the top.
Let's go over your definition of worship again.
You see, so I think right away he knows what Danny is trying to like trap him in, and he's so smart. Say what you want about Jordan. You might not respect him as a man, but you have to respect his intellect. He's a clinical psychologist. These people are trained to understand and also direct thought patterns. That's one of the ways they aid in correcting, let's say, antisocial or neurodivergent behavior with clients. Basically, they're trained manipulators. They can plant a thought in your head and have you believe you're the one who came up with it. You're the one who's going to now take this action. And they do this, they're supposed to do this in a beneficial way. It's supposed to aid in your development from whatever you're dealing with mentally. But it doesn't change the fact that it's manipulation for a good purpose. Manipulation nonetheless. So these guys are master manipulators. They know how to manipulate the argument. The first thing they'll do in a conversation is trying to figure out your personality and try to see what triggers you, see how they can steer the conversation. They know how to elicit a reaction. So they'll say something in order to get a reaction out of you. That way they can control you like a puppet. So that's what he's trying to do right now. So he sniffs out the trap. So he's going to start dancing. He's going to do some semantic arguments. He's going to be arguing about the definition of words, even though there is a definition of worship already by a dictionary definition, and also the definition in terms of theology, in terms of Christian theology. Like if you ask a layman, what do you mean when people say they worship something? It's like they give it devotion, praise, all of that stuff. But that's not the argument here. The argument is whether or not these guys worship Mary, right? And the Mary being referred to here is the Madonna, the statue of the woman with the head covering, right? The iconography, the idols. But he's going to be dancing around that because he doesn't want to admit to any of that.
What's your definition of worship?
Attend to,
Do
prioritize,
Prioritize.
sacrifice.
And sacrifice.
to Catholic?
Okay, so attend to, prioritize, and sacrifice. Now, if you're attending to something, that means you're prioritizing it. And if you're prioritizing it, then automatically you're sacrificing your time or whatever resource. So we're going to now find out whether or not Jordan thinks of himself as a Christian.
Catholics attend to. Do they prioritize Mary over all other human beings?
No, I didn't say overall, did I? I didn't add that to my definition.
You understand.
I said there was a hierarchy as well.
You attend to
So you can attend to something trivially, or you can attend to it deeply.
And now you're adding stuff to the definition. But your original
I
definition.
added the hierarchy part at the beginning.
Are you
just
familiar?
didn't understand it.
Are you familiar with the Immaculate Conception?
Why is that relevant?
Because you go to a Catholic church, don't you? Or you've attended recently. You're interested in Catholicism, aren't you?
Sure.
All right. Are you familiar with their doctrines?
Somewhat.
Okay, you're
Their
familiar.
doctrines are very
How do they
deep.
regard Mary?
Why are you asking me that?
Because you're a Christian.
You say that. I haven't claimed that.
I haven't claimed that. You see how deceptive he is? He's presenting himself. Okay, if you're not a Christian, why are you on a video titled Christian versus Atheist? Jubilee had to change the title. They changed the title from Christian versus Atheist, one Christian versus Atheist, to Jordan Peterson versus 20 Atheists. So, and he's being mocked for that because they say like this guy cooked him so hard that Jubilee had to change the video. So, but the important thing here is a couple things. So Jordan gives his definition of what worship is. He's here as a Christian. That's the whole point of the video. Now, you might argue that this was set up by his agent and Jubilee was just being deceptive, which they normally are to like conservative types. And Jordan is one of those guys. So it might be a case where somebody else might have like told him this is just going to be a debate about Christian dogma without necessarily telling him, hey, do you want to be on a Jubilee video? And he's like, sure. But knowing Jordan, he's very, like he said this already, right? He's very, very careful about what he says. So I also think a man who's very careful what he says will also be very careful of the things he knows before he says them and about the places that he goes and the platforms he goes upon. So I don't believe he didn't know what the video was going to be about. Like, I don't believe that. Ben Shapiro was on it. He knows he's doing a 20v1. That's his boss, by the way, Ben Shapiro. So his boss has done this before. A couple of his colleagues over at the Daily Wire, which is the organization he's a part of, they've done this type of thing before.
Arcane types who exist. And
Yeah, there are Cain types.
Yeah.
But Cain himself, I mean, you give the game away where you say in your book, Cain and Abel were the first humans to be born in the natural way. Now that betrays you as it were pretending you think they really existed, because you wouldn't have said they were born in a natural way unless you were muddling up facts with symbols there, because you don't think that Cain and Abel existed.
Well, I don't. What do I think about Cain and Abel? I said, I think the pattern that they represent always exists. Always exists.
That's different things.
But I care about facts. I mean, did they exist or did they not exist?
Well, I can imagine a situation where when the story was originated, that it referred to two actual brothers. But as the stories propagate across time, as they mutate, as they...
But he does this a lot. Jordan does this a lot where whenever he's cornered, when he's cornered to admit whether or not he believes in core fundamental Christian concepts like the resurrection, or whether Cain and Abel really existed and they're the ones who populated the earth, or the story of man started with Adam and Eve, which is against the theory of evolution. Evolution, of course, says that we came from apes and there was different stages in that evolution. You're safe and Homo sapien, Homo erectus, and so they were like bent and then they got straight, whereas in the Bible it says God created man upright already. So,
Oh, what is this? Is this Christians versus atheists?
I don't know.
You don't know where you are right now.
Don't be a smartass.
Well,
so all of a sudden he's Joe Biden. He doesn't know where he's right.
I mean,
either you're a
'cause I
Christian
won't
or you're
talk
not.
to you.
He's doing a Joe Biden. So, and this is what I mentioned earlier, right? He knows how to manipulate behavior. He intentionally played dumb in order to aggravate his opponent, in order to not engage with the arguments that are being thrown at him right now. So he doesn't want to engage with it because he senses a trap. This is so brilliant. Him not engaging with it and his method of trying to avoid it ended up hurting him.
You don't know where you are right now.
Don't be a smartass.
Well,
And I mean,
either you're a
'cause I
Christian
won't
or you're
talk
not.
to you if you're a smartass.
Oh, either you're a Christian or you're not. Which one is it?
I could be either of them, but I don't have to tell you.
You don't have to tell me. I was under the impression
private.
I was invited to talk to a Christian. Am I not talking to a Christian?
No, you were invited to.
I think everyone should look at the title of the YouTube channel. You're probably in the wrong YouTube video,
You're really quite something, you are.
aren't I? But you're really quite nothing, right? You're not a Christian.
Okay, I'm done with him.
A person will refer to him as a Christian to somebody else, but he will not deny it. The only time he denies it is when he's being asked point blank, and then right away his mind goes back to how am I going to look to my colleagues? Because apparently, if you believe in Christianity or the Bible, you've diminished yourself. It's like something in you right now is lacking, and that shows that you're not all the way there anymore. I think that's his apprehension. Or he could be doing what a lot of people have said he's been doing, which is a grift. But it'd be quite a grift to be doing. I think what's happening to Jordan is the same thing that's happening to Billy Carson, which is there's this thing in the Bible where it says, be not deceived, God is not mocked. For whatsoever man soweth, that shall he also reap. I think what's happening is he's been playing Christian too long, and then God just had enough of it and just letting him have it. He sent Wes after Graham, and maybe he sent this guy after him. There's also scripture that says he will use the low things of the earth to confound the wise. He'll make somebody who's dumber than you make you look foolish. He'll make somebody that's weaker than you defeat you, even though you're supposed to be stronger. Right? But I think this guy right here, I think he's gonna like get real popular in the coming days because he basically did to Jordan what Westhoff did to Billy. He just dissected him. Look at the guy glaring at him. He's like, yeah, I got you. I know what you're up to. I know what you're about. And then Jordan's over here looking ashamed. Can't even look him in the eye. And the guys are staring at him like he's staring right into his soul. This crazy image right now. I like this image. Oh man. Ooh.